Hi, Sarah.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good. Very good. Talking a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine lots of people want to get stuck in.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So I was wondering if we could, congratulations, by the way, on season six. I'm
Thank
already
you.
thrilled by the first two. I'm a big Outlander fan, and the first two episodes, I'm like, yeah.
Yes. Right.
So
So
I was
much
wondering if
happens.
so much happens already. I was wondering if we could start by sort of explaining where we find Jamie at the beginning of season six.
Where we find Jamie, well, I guess kind of where we find everyone is this sort of a little bit of time has passed since the end of the last season, and Claire is just still dealing with the trauma of what happened to her. And not very well. We find out Jamie is giving her space to deal with it. He's obviously been through something similar. He obviously cares and loves for her, but he's giving her space. And I think obviously she's keeping some things hidden from him. But also his eye has been taken off the ball a little bit because he's dealing with his loyalty issues, where he's obviously working or commanded to work on the side of the crown as an Indian agent, obviously knows that that's not the right side to be on with the war coming. And then he also has the added complication of Tom Christie and his arrival to the Ridge. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and Jamie's getting pulled in a lot of different directions.
I was about to say he's completely torn between his allegiances, isn't he, in this season?
Yeah, I mean, Jamie's always been a man of loyalty and honor, and I think he's really having to now, over the years, he's had to learn to play and be more of a politician and play different sides against each other. And now he's really stuck in this very hard place where he doesn't know when to jump or he knows what side he needs to be on, but he's also got to do the right thing for himself, his family, and also everyone else that's on the Ridge.
Absolutely. And I find it fascinating that Christie comes and sort of starts to unravel him slightly because they've got this kind of tempestuous past together.
Yeah, Chris. Well, so we get to see at the very start of the first episode where the relationship started and the different sides they're on in terms of their sort of faith or their spiritual beliefs, but also what kind of men they are. And there's this real clash of wills and of power. And Christie comes, and of course, it's not a very welcome arrival. And then he really does start to unravel, I guess, the status quo at Fraser's Ridge. And he really does start to decay the popularity of the Frasers as well.
Absolutely. I also enjoy the fact that every time Jamie talks to Christie, he sort of has to assert his dominance in
Yeah.
some way, which has a ripple effect on Christie.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the way that Jamie deals with him sometimes. It can be strength, it can be manipulation, or it can be slightly putting him down, or just using with humor. But that's what I love about Jamie. He's throughout the years he's learned to be a lot more manipulative, a lot like Colin, actually, his uncle. But he is a general. He's been a general. He's been a leader of men. So he has all these different faculties or different ways of dealing with people. But Tom really is as a stick in the mud, and he's a difficult man to deal with.
Absolutely. So what was it like working with Mark Lewis Jones, who's a new character to the show?
That's what's so wonderful about our show. We constantly have great actors coming on board, and Mark just absolutely shone. He's brilliant as Tom Christie, and Tom Christie is nothing like Mark. Mark is so fun, a barrel of laughs. We laughed so much. In fact, it's just sometimes impossible to work with him because he had me in stitches a lot. But he's brilliant. And then actually the whole Christie family, Alex and Jessica, they each one brings another level of weirdness to that whole family.
Yeah, they're fascinating new character to play off against this kind of strong Fraser unit.
Yeah, yeah. And yet they have their own sort of power and manipulation. And I think we really get to see that. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but yeah, they really start to dig into the Frasers, under the Frasers skin. Yeah.
Absolutely. And going back to that, Jamie and Claire, like you said, she's kind of dealing with the trauma of what happened to her in the end of season 5. How has this affected their relationship? Because obviously Jamie's been through similar trauma, and you said that he's giving her space, but does it somewhat help her in a way, knowing that he's been through something similar?
I think she knows he's there for her, and she knows he's keeping an eye on her and giving her space. And they've always had a very open relationship in that they would talk about anything and connect about anything. So I think he thinks, well, if she's having issues or problems, she will talk to him. And I think that's where the real difficulty comes this season, and actually gets in between them, that she doesn't tell him that she's starting to self-medicate. And I think, she has her own way of dealing with it. But I think, again, as I said, Jamie's, of course he would do anything to help her, but his eye is taken off the ball a little bit. He's distracted by other things.
Absolutely. I mean, there's still a lot of love there. I think some scenes where you sort of meet her with like so much adoration and love. How has it been developing this relationship with Catriona over so many years?
Yeah, they just, that's the heart of the show, right? Is their relationship. And obviously, working relationship with Catriona is we've been through so much together. We've always had each other's backs. And then as characters, I think, we've always tried to explore the physical side is obviously a big part of the show, but it's that chemistry that people talk about. It's like, well, what is that? What is that like also for a couple that have been together for so long? So we get to see the couple more domestic sometimes, but that's what I love seeing as well. Just small moments where, I don't know, they're having a cup of tea or they're just in each other's company. And that's where you get to see how they operate together. And this season we brought in Vanessa, our intimacy coordinator, and she really helped us sort of look into and develop that intimacy as well.
I'm so glad, because that was my next question about the intimacy and whether, because a lot more productions are bringing on these directors to produce something more sensitive. Has that changed how you and Catriona interact with these scenes?
Absolutely, yeah. I introduced Vanessa to the show and suggested that we brought her on board. I really liked what she'd said. We'd had a few discussions, myself and her, beforehand, and obviously other shows were doing it. And actually, when we started speaking to her, we realized that we'd been working kind of on our own a little bit, myself and Catriona, in that we were left to just find our way through these scenes, and it was at times were difficult. How do you approach these scenes and make them intriguing and interesting and develop them? So she really helped us open those up and how to approach them, and made it easier for everyone on set as well.
Oh, it's fantastic. So it's even in the opening episode, there's this one beautiful scene between you pair, and you can just tell there's so much love and admiration there. So it's really beautifully well done. It does show in the work.
Yeah, and I agree. If you look at it, in terms of intimacy, it feels really intimate and hopefully loving, and they're just so into each other still, which is really nice to see as a couple. But also, it's not gratuitous, or it's not over the top. I don't know. It just feels, hopefully, there's two couple that's very much in love, and it's been fun to work like that.
It definitely absolutely shows. It really does. I was reading in an interview of yours that you said that this season has kind of like a Western vibe to it. Was there any getting ready? Was there any films or shows that you wanted to watch to draw inspiration to kind of get that feeling and vibe across?
Oh, I wouldn't say, but I just noticed it, and I think it's probably to do with more Trisha, our costume designer, and how the costumes are really starting to move on, and also Fraser's Ridge. Even the weaponry that people are using, the technology, it just feels like we're moving on from looking back to the clansmen with their swords and targes. We're now in a very different world, and the War of Independence. And then I think also possibly, the last couple of episodes, definitely the last episode, does have a sort of Western vibe to it.
Interesting. That's very intriguing, because there's only so many short episodes in this short season. So I'm excited to see what's coming up.
There's a lot to come up. I mean, as you say, there's only 8 episodes, but actually it's just so much happens. So much happens. And there's also little side stories, and a lot of the other characters all have their own storylines. It feels in a weird way more rounded because everyone's world is fleshed out a bit. So I honestly think, once fans have watched this season, they won't feel like, there are less episodes. I think more will have happened.
Absolutely. And even the first episode, which is nearly a feature-length film, like an hour and 20 minutes.
That's 2 episodes there, right?
Yeah, 2 episodes right there. So there is so much going on for people to enjoy. And I really can't wait for people to see this. You've done a fantastic job again.
Thank you. Good. Oh, I can't wait for you to see the other episodes, because oh boy.
No, not ready, not prepared.
No, geez. Yeah, the second half especially.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you, Sarah.
It's been great, and good luck with the show.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You Guys!